Well, look what we have here. A video about some fancy mini PCs with big promises, AMD Ryzen Ai Max 395 mini PCs offer big giga performance. Sounds about as exciting as watching paint dry in my bog. I mean, who needs a full-sized computer when you can squint at something that fits in your pocket? Right? Today, we'll dive into this tech wonderland and see if these little boxes can actually deliver or if they're just another overhyped gadget trying to convince us it's the next best thing since sliced bread. Spoiler alert, I have my doubts, so grab your popcorn, or whatever it is you kids snack on these days, and let's see if this video is worth the time, or if it stinks worse than my bog after a rainstorm. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe and like, because apparently that's what keeps the lights on in this digital swamp. Let's get to it.
What's going on, everybody? It's ETA PRIME back here again. It's no secret that we're about to see some really powerful mini PCs hit the market very soon using the all-new AMD Ryzen Ai Max Plus 395.
Here we go, the AMD Ryzen Ai Max Plus 395. Sounds like a name that's trying a bit too hard to impress. Powerful mini PCs, huh? I can already hear the marketing team patting themselves on the back, but let's be real. How many times have we heard powerful and ended up with something that barely runs a web browser without overheating? I'm skeptical, to say the least. If these little boxes can actually handle some serious gaming without turning into a toaster, I might just be impressed, grudgingly of course, but until then color me dubious.
95. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at what kind of performance we can expect out of these upcoming mini PCs. I do have one in my possession. I can't tell you exactly which one it is, but I can assure you that within the next month and a half to 2 months, we will be seeing these hit the market. This is not in the final chassis. It's a prototype, and I was actually lucky enough to get early hands-on with this to kind of go back and forth with the developer, see what needs to be changed, what doesn't need to be changed, and try to increase performance before this hits the market. And what makes this a bit different from the ROG Z13 Flow that we took a look at on the channel a couple weeks ago is the fact that we can actually take the TDP up on this to around 140 watts. Pretty crazy what this thing can do at that kind of wattage. And I'll tell you, with 16 cores, 32 threads, and a 40 compute unit iGPU, it can definitely use that extra wattage. But again, we've got a lot of these hitting the market. Recently, this popped up on Bilibili. This one also goes up to 140 watts, but it's a bit different. It's got an internal power supply.
An internal power supply? Now that's a twist. It's like they're trying to make these mini PCs a bit more grown-up. No more relying on those pesky external bricks that take up half your desk space. If they can pull this off without turning into a heat factory, I might just have to give them a reluctant nod of approval. But let's see if it actually delivers or if it's just another shiny gimmick.
As you can see, it's like a flex power supply. GMK Tech, a mini PC manufacturer, has already announced that they're working on one powered by the Max Plus 395. And of course, Framework is going to be releasing their first desktop PC. And this one I'm actually really excited about. It definitely looks really neat. Also powered by the Max Plus 395. But with all that out of the way, I want to go ahead and jump right into Windows 11 here and show you what's going on with this mini PC. And then we're going to be taking a look at some 1440p gaming on an iGPU. Okay, jumping right in here, wanted to give you a look at everything. And, you know, we've tested the Ryzen AI Max Plus 395 before, but only up to around 90 watts. With this setup, we can do up to 140, but I've taken it down to 130 because the cooling system definitely needs to be revamped here. But as you can see, we've got that Max Plus 395 with the Radeon 8060S, 32 gigs of LPDDR5 at 8,000 megahertz. And of course, we've got the 8060S iGPU.
The 8060's iGPU sounds fancy. With 32 gigs of PDDR5, the setup is starting to look like it means business. If this little beast can actually handle some decent gaming or multitasking without turning into a puddle of sweat, I might have to reconsider my stance on mini PCs. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still need to see if it can deliver on those promises. Fingers crossed it doesn't flop like a toad out of water.
GPU, 40 compute units, and I've dedicated 8 gigs of VRAM. With this system, the way it's set up, we can go up to 16, but I've only got a 32 gig system. Just like most of these upcoming systems you're going to see in the next few months, there'll be a 32, 64, and a 128 version that you can pick up. RAM is non-upgradable here. Okay, so right here, I've got our TDP listed with hardware info, and I want to show you. We'll just get in a bit closer. And there you have it. It jumps right up to 130 watts. And to tell you the truth, I've seen around 145 out of this, even though it's set to 130 in the BIOS. It really depends on what's going on. In some of the games that we're going to be testing, you'll see it go above 130. And before we get into it, I did want to show you this real quick. I've got Furmark. So we're maxing out this iGPU, the 8060S, pretty hardcore right now. Our TDP on this APU is up to around 120, and we're only utilizing 2 to 3% of the CPU. I mean, it's basically idling right now.
Idling at 2 to 3%, that's impressive. It's like this little machine is lounging in a hammock while Furmark is trying to throw a party. If it can handle that kind of stress without breaking a sweat, maybe there's something to this mini PC after all. But let's see how it holds up when the real gaming starts. I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Right now, we're just using that iGPU. So the GPU on this can pull quite a bit also. First game we have here is Cyberpunk 2077. We're at 1440p Ultra preset. Afterburner up in the top left-hand corner, you can see we're right there at around 128 watts. Just show you 1440 Ultra preset. So this does take FSR to quality there. And I'll tell you, even at this kind of wattage on the Max Plus 395, we're still kind of
struggling to hit 60 FPS at 1440 Ultra. That's a tough pill to swallow. It's like bringing a toad to a race and expecting it to win against a hare. If this is what the Max Plus 395 can do, I'm starting to wonder if all that hype was just hot air. Sure, it's impressive for a mini PC, but if it can't keep up with a game like Cyberpunk, what's the point? Let's see if it can redeem itself in the next test.
kind of struggling there to hit 60 FPS, and I kind of thought that would be the case. After all, we're still using integrated graphics here, and we could add a little more FSR, we could take it to balanced or performance, but what I want to do here is actually just take it down to the high preset, because 1440p high on an iGPU is still really impressive, and I got a feeling it's going to run it really well. I'd say right now at Ultra 1440, we're seeing an average of around 58, which isn't bad. So we'll go in here, using that preset, still at 1440, and yeah, I mean, already we're over 60 FPS.
Over 60 FPS at 14.4 type high, now that's more like it. It seems like dialing down the settings did the trick. If this little mini PC can keep up with Cyberpunk like this, maybe it's not just a glorified paperweight after all. I'm still not ready to throw a party. But I'll admit, it's showing some promise. Let's see if it can maintain that performance without melting down.
FPS, and I'd say this would probably be the best way to play it on something like this. But one thing that I've noticed here are GPU clocks. So I don't have any way to adjust the clocks or set a manual clock on that iGPU, the 8060S. This should clock up to 2900 megahertz. Right now it might not need it, but I do think that in some cases, if we had a way to kind of lock that clock speed on that iGPU, we could see better performance. It seems that right now, I mean, the CPU itself with those 16 cores and 32 threads is just trying to take all of the power away. And again, when we were just running Furmark there, you saw the iGPU did jump up to around 100 watts. I'd say the 8060S kind of maxed out here. It could pull a total of around 85 watts all by itself. But either way you look at it, this is some amazing performance for integrated graphics.
Amazing performance for integrated graphics. Now that's a statement. If the 8060s can pull off decent gaming at 14.4 tight high, it's definitely breaking some stereotypes about integrated solutions. I'm still not ready to crown it king of the hill, but it's certainly holding its own. If it can keep this up without overheating or crashing, I might just have to admit that mini PCs have come a long way. Let's see how it handles the rest of the gaming tests.
Next one we have here is Marvel Rivals. We're at 1440p high with no FSR. And if you take a look at Afterburner, we're over 130 watts on the TDP. So this one is really kind of taking it out of this APU, but we're still over that 60 mark.
Still over 60 FPS at 14.4 tight high. Now that's a solid performance. It seems like this mini PC is really holding its ground, even when pushed to the limits. If it can keep this up without turning into a hot mess, it might just change the game for integrated graphics. I'm starting to think there's more to this little box than meets the eye. Let's see how it continues to perform.
Mark. I haven't seen it fall under 60 just yet. Getting an average of around 65 FPS.
An average of 65 FPS at 14.4 tight high. Now that's impressive. It looks like this mini PC is really stepping up to the plate. If it can maintain that kind of performance, it might just convince some skeptics that integrated graphics have finally come of age. I am curious to see if it can keep this momentum going in the next game.
So some FSR here would really help out.
He's coming up behind.
Love it or hate it, still wanted to test out GTA 5 Enhanced Edition. 1440p, very high, 100% scale. We're not using FSR, and with this new Enhanced Edition, FSR would really help out on this. But I wanted to have that native 1440p experience, and we're over 90 FPS. I mean,
Over 90 FPS at 1440, very high. Now that's a pleasant surprise. It seems like this mini PC is really flexing its muscles with GTA Enhanced Edition. If it can handle this kind of load without breaking a sweat, it's definitely proving that integrated graphics can hold their own. I'm starting to think this little box might be worth the hype after all.
yes, I mean, I had a feeling it was going to run great. But to tell you the truth, I mean, with this maxed out like it is with no ray tracing versus the non-enhanced edition, it's kind of hard for me to tell the difference. Spider-Man 2, high, 1440p, FSR set to quality, and with FSR off, we're seeing an average of around 58. So
An average of around 58 FPS in Spider-Man 2 at 1440 high, not too shabby. It looks like this mini PC is still holding its ground. Even with a demanding title like this, if it can stay close to that 60 FPS mark, it's doing pretty well for integrated graphics. I'm curious to see how it performs with FSR on. Might just give it the boost it needs.
58. So it is struggling at 1440p. But of course, with everything that we tested here, we don't need any kind of scaling at 1080p. I just wanted to see how it would handle these games at 1440. And so far, it's not bad at all. Next one we have here is Doom Eternal 1440p Ultra Nightmare. No resolution scale. I've got Afterburner in the top left-hand corner and the in-game stats in the top right-hand corner. We're over 100 FPS with it.
Over 100 FPS in Doom Eternal at 1440 Ultra Nightmare. Now that's impressive. It seems like this mini PC is really showing its strength with a game that's known for pushing hardware to the limits. If it can keep up this kind of performance, it's definitely proving that integrated graphics can be a viable option for serious gaming. I'm starting to think this little box might just be a hidden gem.
FPS with it, and while I was playing this, I kind of got lost in it. It was just super smooth. It felt really good on this iGPU. Had to throw one fighting game in, so I went with Mortal Kombat 1. We're at 1440, ultra high, no FSR, and I did try ray tracing, but it kind of fell on its face.
Ray tracing fell flat. That's not surprising, especially for integrated graphics. It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. While it's great to see the effort, it seems like this mini PC is better off sticking to the basics for a smoother experience. If it can handle Mortal Kombat 1 at ultra high without ray tracing, that's still a win in my book. Let's see how it performs without those extra bells and whistles.
Ray tracing on these AMD iGPUs just doesn't do great. I mean, it's much better than a lower-end iGPU could run it, but unfortunately it falls far behind a dedicated GPU.
Round 2. Fight!
And the final game we have here is God of War Ragnarok at 1440p high with no FSR. I did try Ultra, but it was under 60, so
Trying Ultra and falling under 60 FPS, that's a tough break, especially for a visually stunning game like God of War Ragnarok. It's clear that this mini PC is pushing its limits. Dropping down to high settings might be the right call if it means a smoother experience. Let's see how it performs at high. Hopefully, it can keep up with the action without any hiccups.
60, so you will need some FSR there. So I figured going down to high at a native 1440p would look a bit better, and it certainly does. I mean, this is such a great game. Love the fact that they did such a good job porting this over to PC. So the big question is, what are these things going to cost? And right now, I don't have an exact answer, but I can tell you that if you check out Framework's website and just kind of configure one for yourself, it's going to be cheaper than their lower end model. I don't know by how much, but one of the big reasons we've been seeing an uplift in price on these Ryzen AI powered mini PCs or small form factor PCs is the chip cost itself. The Ryzen AI Max Plus 395 is actually a really expensive chip. Even if you go down to something like the Ryzen AI 9 HX 370, which isn't going to put out the kind of performance we've seen here, but does outperform something like the Ryzen Z1 Extreme, that chip costs significantly more than Ryzen 8000. So we're going to see a lot of the Ryzen 8000 mini PCs that are pretty cheap compared. So in the end, I mean, it's really up to you. With something like this is basically what you get. You're not going to be able to upgrade the CPU or anything like that. So you definitely have to keep that in mind if you're considering buying something like this when they're released. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. Within the next few weeks, I will have more information to share with you, and I'd love to know from you in the comments below, what do you think a good price point would be for something like this in a decent looking case with 32 gigabytes of RAM and a 1 terabyte M.2 SSD? Let me know your thoughts down below. And like always, thanks for watching.
Folks, we just waded through a swamp of many PC madness together, and what a ride it was. We kicked off with skepticism thicker than my bog water, wondering if these pint-sized wonders could deliver on their big promises, or if they were just trying to lure us in with shiny packaging and marketing fluff. At first, I was ready to roll my eyes harder than a toad trying to dodge a fly. The AMD Ryzen Ai Max Plus 395 sounds like an amateur-upping contest to me, but as the video trudged on, I begrudgingly witnessed some decent performance. Who knew these little boxes could manage over 100 FPS in Doom Eternal? Quite an achievement for something you can practically fit under your hat. Still, let's not overlook the hiccups. Struggling with God of War Ragnarok at ultra settings was a clear sign that this mini PC might have bitten off a bit more than it can chew. That it did manage to edge closer to glory with some other games, reminding us all that integrated graphics can, at times, prove their worth. Just don't go expecting to render a blockbuster film on one of these things. Alright, so, did this video live up to the hype? I'll admit it surprised me, slightly. Maybe mini PCs aren't doomed to be glorified paperweights, after all. But let's not throw a parade just yet. I'll reserve that for when I see a mini PC capable of running Cyberpunk without a personal air conditioner. Before I croak my way back to the bog, if you somehow manage to sit through my ramblings, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Because apparently, that's how the internet operates these days. Lights on and toads grumbling. Join me next time for more internet shenanigans because, trust me, I can always find more nonsense to roast. Until then, keep it questionable, folks, just like these mini PCs.